There is a mathematically significant chance that you aren't actually reading these words. You might be a solitary brain floating in a dark cosmic void, spontaneously hallucinating this exact moment. To understand why physicists take that paradox seriously, we have to accept a difficult truth. Human perception is a biological filter that hides the true nature of reality. This is the brain, an enclosed physical organ with a strict evolutionary mandate. It was designed to track terrestrial threats like predators, not to process the abstract, higher-dimensional data of the cosmos. This creates a bandwidth problem. The brain takes an overwhelming amount of complex cosmic data and compresses it into simple, manageable illusions, like solid objects and linear time. Because our survival depends on these biological shortcuts, uncovering the true nature of the universe requires us to abandon our intuition and look at the scales our ancestors never needed to see. If we zoom past the human scale and plunge into a single pixel on your screen, the classical rules of physics stop working. The solid world dissolves into a chaotic, fuzzy cloud of subatomic energy. At this level, particles do not exist as solid points. Instead, they operate in superposition, behaving like a vibrating cloud of probabilities, ringing across multiple states simultaneously. This wave-particle duality means that matter remains spread out as a wave of potential until it is forced to interact. It only takes a definite, solid shape when we attempt to observe it. Reality at its foundational level is inherently uncertain. A human brain optimized to track the precise trajectory of a spear cannot intuitively visualize a world where an object is in many places at once. If the quantum world is too small for our intuition, the macrocosm breaks our mental architecture in the opposite direction, exposing a specific glitch in our parietal lobe. The human brain processes large values logarithmically. This evolutionary shortcut helps us estimate quantities quickly, but it makes it biologically impossible to intuitively feel the vast difference between 1,000,000 and 1,000,000,000. This diagram maps that scale. If the Earth is reduced to a 1 millimeter grain of sand, the solar system is the size of a dinner plate. At this same ratio, the Milky Way galaxy would stretch across all of North America. The most difficult realization is the emptiness. If the sun is a grain of sand, the nearest neighboring star is another grain 40 kilometers away. The macrocosm is not merely a collection of objects, it is a devastatingly empty void that breaks our spatial comprehension. Yet those vast distances are finite. To hit the limits of human cognition, we must enter abstract mathematics and confront the concept of absolute infinity. Standard resource logic fails with infinity. It behaves less like a large number and more like a logic-defying paradox, illustrated by Hilbert's Grand Hotel. Imagine a hotel with an infinite number of rooms, and every single one is occupied. Suddenly, an infinitely long bus pulls up, filled with a newly arriving infinite line of guests. The manager accommodates everyone. They ask each existing guest to move to a room number double their current one. Room 1 moves to 2, 2 to 4, and so on. This creates an infinite number of vacancies in the odd-numbered rooms. Our human mental frameworks collapse here because our brains are exclusively wired to manage a finite world with finite resources. When we take that infinite timeline and combine it with the chaotic, fuzzy probability of quantum mechanics, we circle back to our original paradox. Physicist Ludwig Boltzmann proposed that over an infinite span of time, random quantum fluctuations in a void will eventually assemble into complex, working structures. Mathematically, it is more likely for a fully formed brain to spontaneously pop into existence from a random fluctuation than it is for an entire universe to evolve over billions of years. This Boltzmann brain scenario is a staggering existential nightmare. But there is a profound irony here. We discovered this probability using the very mathematical tools our biology struggles to grasp. There is a strange clarity in using our own limited hardware to recognize the exact boundaries of our blindness. We have used a brain meant for the savannah to map the edge of the unthinkable.